All right, welcome back, everyone. So yeah, I think we'll keep rolling along here. What we will do for the Q&A session, which starts, or the open forum in an hour's time, is we will allow people to ask questions in person. So when we do get to the open forum session, if you want to ask a question, you can raise your hand and we will be able to enable your microphone so you can ask the question directly. But yeah, also feel free to continue to ask questions in the Q&A as well as we go through. Yeah, so rolling along, our next presentation is by Ken Dinsmore, who's going to chat to us about reporting and BI. So over to you, Ken.
Thanks, Mike. Let me go ahead and get my presentation going here. Sorry about that. That didn't seem to work. So let's try that again.
There we go. Success.
Okay, great. Welcome, everyone. Like Mike said, I'm Ken Dinsmore. I'm the Technical Services Manager. And I'm going to talk a little bit about effective visualization of your data in Landfolio. Or actually your Landfolio data. So the data that I am going to be showing is centered around what a government entity would be interested in, but the same concepts apply whether you're talking about licenses or your obligations or permits or projects. So just imagine it's the data that you're interested in, and we can do the same kinds of things for it. So our vision for business intelligence is to use effective visuals that can drive informed decisions. So those visuals can be in the form of reports, dashboards, maps, and today mostly I'll be focusing on dashboards with some map integrations. So something like what you see here. To implement this vision and thereby taking your Landfolio to the next level, let's look at how dashboards can effectively visualize your data. Dashboard can consist of many pages, ideally starting with an executive overview. This overview page can show various types of graphs covering a wide variety of information. Like the dashboard of your car, this page should give you an indication of the overall status of your applications, active licenses, the evolution, the revenue or the obligation forecasts. That information can be included as well as production figures. And graphs make it really easy to quickly identify discrepancies in the information. So you can see here, I just have a few examples of the kinds of graphs that you might show. You can monitor your active applications in various ways. So in this example, the top graph shows the number of applications per license type that has been applied for, again, from the government view. Each bar represents the type, and each color is a different province. So simply by looking at the colors and focusing on green, one could see that that for that province, that there is only a small mine, quarry, and tailings applications, with the biggest area covered by small mine applications in the bottom graph. The area of those same applications are also shown per license type and province. So here we can see that the 10 combined small mining applications for another province also covers the biggest area under the application. So it's about 3,000 square kilometers. Filtering the graphs by a single province, one could easily see that there are 10 small mine and 2 mine applications for this province. From the bottom graph, we can see that the small mine application covers 3,046 square kilometers and the 2 mine applications 102 square kilometers. In this instance, we're filtering the same graphs by license type. Here we're looking at 2 different types of query applications, and we can easily see that the query applications are located in only 3 provinces. And finally, in this graph, we could also use a combination of filters. In this instance, I've selected a combination of 3 provinces and 2 license types. Depending upon your requirements, graphs can be built to answer many of the questions you'd like to answer. On any of the graphs that I'm showing, we can also drill down to provide a table of the data that makes up any part of the graph. So let's look at a couple of other examples. So on this page, we're focusing on the demand for commodity types for active licenses. Again, we're looking at the number of licenses as well as the coverage, focusing on the top 10 commodity types. In this instance, we can see that the top 3 commodities are the same for number and coverage, namely gold, copper, and cobalt. But when we get to the 4th commodity type, things change. In terms of the number of licenses, it's diamonds, while silver has the biggest coverage in terms of area. Again, we can build in various filters to analyze the data further. And in these graphs, we're looking at the evolution of applications over the last 5 years. The graph on the left shows the number of applications, whereas the graph on the right shows the rate of coverage. Hence, we can see that the number of applications has increased from just less than 150 in 2019 to about 165 in 2023. We can also deduct that amount, that about 8,500 square kilometers were applied for in 2019, with not a huge increase in the coverage by 2023. Deeper analysis of the graphs with knowledge of the economy and maybe changes in the mining legislation should be taken into account. Right. And then looking at a similar graph for progressive areas under active mining, we can see that it is also possible to hover over the graph to get more information about the data. In this instance, I have highlighted the number of licenses for 2020. This enables us to get exact numbers where I was rounding numbers in the previous graphs. Here we can see that from 2019 to 2023, the number of licenses only increased with about 7, while the coverage increased with more than 600 square kilometers. In this example, in the top graph, we can measure the forecasted annual revenue against the collected revenue, or in this case, if you're a mining company, it might be looking at obligations. The pie chart gives us some information on which payment type makes up the forecast and the collected revenue. Similarly, we could also analyze production figures. And if we want to take these dashboards to another level, we can add maps that interact with the graphs. Please note that at this stage, maps within dashboards are only available to clients with Power BI Pro licenses. So looking at the same data that we already analyzed, we can add an interactive map. And on this page, you can see all current applications, numbers on the bar chart, totals in the cards at the bottom of, and with the polygons of the application areas on the map. Also note that the drop-down filters at the bottom, so down here. And if I filter the page by choosing the first province, everything on the page adjusts to show only information for that province. The map also zooms to the province and we can see the application polygons. Note that the cards also update to show that now we're looking at 21 applications covering 3,700 square kilometers. And if I click on the bar for a specific license type, the cards update again to show me that we are now only looking at 10 licenses covering 3,050 square kilometers. And note that those 10 licenses are highlighted on the map. And then when I click on one of the licensed polygons on the map, the cards update to indicate that we're now only looking at a single license covering 209 square kilometers. The record is also highlighted in the bar on the bar chart. So you get really good interaction between the map and the chart. And we can go back to the full data set by clicking anywhere in the white area next to the graphs. It's also possible to filter the map and cards by clicking on any of the pieces of the bars in the bar chart. In this example, I clicked on the orange 8 on the PR bar. Again, all the other graphs in the map respond and shows the data that's been selected. Similarly to what I've showed before, I can get more information on a pop-up tooltip by hovering over part of the graph that you want to know more about. It's also possible to hide the selection box on the map once a selection has been made. And if we want to take these dashboards to another level, we can add maps that interact with the graphs. Please note that at this stage, maps within the dashboards are only available, like I said, with the Power BI Pro licenses. And thank you very much. And if there are any questions, please put them in the Q&A.
That's great. Thanks, Ken. We've got a couple of minutes before the next presentation, so and a few questions have come in, so I'm going to break from what I said earlier, and yeah, maybe we can just address those questions now. I actually see a couple of questions in the chat window. So Deborah had a question. Could I build a dashboard showing, for example, claim location by county, number of claims in each county, and measure the change by month or year by year? And further to that, and using a map to show the location of each. So yeah, Deborah, in answer to your question, well, I'll let Ken answer. Actually, you're doing the presentation.
Yeah, so all of those, they're just data points that we can put into the graphs and then show on the map. So it's just a matter of making sure that we're retaining all of that data, especially the time series data, so that we can visualize it however it is that you want to see it.
All right, thanks, Ken. And then an integration-related question that came in from Roger Bannister. He likes the change to the SharePoint integration to use document ID so the links won't break. Can Landfolio pick up changes to the file name made in SharePoint or other document metadata? And Nick, I might put you on the spot to answer this one. I assume the answer is yes with a SharePoint metadata integration.
With the metadata integration, it should, yes.
It is possible. Yes.
Thanks, Phil. Yeah.
I'm wondering why Nick got posted that question. Yes, absolutely. We have various clients who have sort of synchronization integrations between SharePoint and Landfolio to keep things up to date. And yes, Roger, I fully agree. It's nice of SharePoint to catch up with the rest of the document management systems out there by using an ID rather than an actual relative path. Yeah, but yes, the answer is yes. It's a custom integration. So what Leon spoke about and that sort of field, because every client wants to maintain different tags and metadata and put them in different places, right? We have clients who use Google Drive and they want to track the location and capture that in the description of the document just so that they can search through things through Google Drive if they need to for external Landfolio users.
All right, thanks, Phil. Yeah, then Roger had a question on the BI maps as well. Are the polygons directly plotted in Power BI, or do you need ArcGIS Online or Portal Map? for the polygon plotting.
And do you mind if I take this?
Yeah, go right ahead.
So Roger, what we do, we've tried various options. Yes, you can consume it from ArcGIS Online. It's a little clunky at times. What we've actually been doing is taking the feature class and converting the shapes to a JSON format, and then ingesting those directly into the Esri Power BI plugin in Power BI. So then you kind of skip the step of having that data published, perhaps only for that map. But we can do either or, really. It's there are a couple of options.
All right, thanks, Phil. Cheyenne, yeah, in answer to your question, I am not sure that we have a Copilot running. I will need to investigate and let you know, but I don't know that we had Copilot enabled for this, so not sure on that question, but I'll get back to you on that. Unless anyone else from the team knows if we've got Copilot running in the background by default. I suspect not, but yeah, I don't know if anyone from the
You normally have to ask
team.
Skynet to keep track of you.
Yeah.
Would have been cool though, now that you say it.
Yeah, would have been cool now that you said, yeah. We've branched out of our standard here. We normally use we're a Google shop by default, but we know that quite a few people can't connect to Google Meet through their corporate restrictions. So we chose to host this in Teams. So yeah, we're kind of newbies to webinars in Teams.